you're not exactly sure where to start on improving your website, you should start with data. And the best place to get data is Google Analytics, because this is a huge platform that envelops everything to do with your website and has deep data on just about every aspect you can think of. So today, I'm gonna walk you through one little part of that puzzle, the acquisition analytics strategy. And by the end of this video, you're gonna understand what each section does, how to read it, how to take the best advantage of it, and build faster on your website based on the data that you've acquired. My name's Trent Kennelly, I'm a marketing strategist, and on this channel, I talk about all the things that you can do to improve your business through marketing, sales, and analytics. So if that sounds good to you and you're excited, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to my channel if you're excited about that, and let me know in the comments your favorite Google Analytics metric, if you have one. Maybe I'm the only geek that does, and let's get started. All right, so let's do a little bit of house cleaning here before we get started. So I'm assuming that you already have Google Analytics installed, but if you don't, it's a really easy thing to do. Just go to analytics.google.com, start a new account, grab that little piece of code, and follow the instructions to install it on your website. Just keep in mind that once you install it on the website, you're not immediately gonna have data because it doesn't have historical data. It's collecting data and it's sending it back to Google based on that code snippet you just put in. So it needs time to collect that data. So I would say that if you're just now installing it, at least a week from now is when you should check it first. Otherwise, it's not gonna mean much, okay? The other thing I wanna say is we're gonna spend most of the time in the acquisition all traffic channels page on that little tab, because that is a really important tab to understand your growth strategy and see how things are moving along in your Google Analytics. All right, so let's just go ahead and go through all of the different things that you need to understand on this report. So first off, let's get there, okay? So we're gonna go over here and we're gonna go acquisition, all traffic channels. Okay, and so this is the report. Right now, this is only about over the period of a month, but it walks you through kind of who's visiting your site, how many people are visiting your site, what channels they're coming from, etc. So we can get really, really granular here. Before we start talking about these rows, what I want to talk about are the default channel groupings. So you're going to see that there are the same ones all the time. So you've got organic search. So organic search is exactly like it sounds. It's people who are searching for you on Google and they're coming to your website from search results on Google. So if you're up in organic search, you're really doing well on SEO, so good job. The next one is direct. So this means that people are putting your website address in directly. So instead of clicking on a website link on Facebook or something, or clicking on a link on a Google search, they're putting in levelmeup.com in the URL bar, and that's how they're getting to you. Also very good, but doesn't show you a lot of metrics other than like word of mouth and returning purchasers and all that sort of stuff. Third one is referral here. So there's referral services out there where you can set up a referral link with your customers, and they can kind of refer your service around and they get a benefit as well. Referral affiliate, they're kind of similar programs. Display, so that's display advertising. That's a type of paid advertising. And what you're looking at here is video ads and banner ads and that sort of stuff. If you have a lot of traffic coming in from those, that's good stuff. Social, so that's going to be social media. So that's going to be any ads that are coming in from social media. It's going to give you kind of an overview of how many people are coming in from, organic or ads or anything like that that's coming from Facebook or Instagram or LinkedIn or anything else that Google Analytics will identify as a social media source, okay? The next one is affiliates. Again, similar to referrals, but this is people who you are working with your customers or other people that are partnering with you to get the word out about your product or service and get that thing sold, okay? Other is unidentified. So you're always going to have a little bit of this. You can dig down sometimes and get a little bit more information about other, but it just is the case on these that it can't always identify everything that's coming through. And then paid search is exactly like it sounds. It's pay-per-click paid search, right? What it doesn't show up here, and that I think should also be highlighted, is email, because email is also going to be a big driver of traffic. But just understand that pretty much any of those big channels, you're going to see them broken down in this default channel channel grouping here. If you want to, you can get really granular with these. So you can click on organic search, for instance, and you can see what pages they're coming into. I'm just using the demo account you can see here. So this is GoogleMerchandiseStore.com, that sort of stuff. Okay, so now let's look at these different columns and really kind of get a strong understanding of what this is. So you'll notice first off that it's broken off into 3 general sections. So there's acquisition, behavior, and conversion. So the first one is who's flowing in the site. The second is a little bit, again, not super detailed, about what they're doing on the site. And the third is whether they're actually purchasing based on these groupings and the channel groupings and all that sort of stuff. So for acquisition, let's look at users versus new users. So users and new users, it's a little bit weird, but you can kind of think of it like all users and unique users, but it's a little bit different. So it counts unique users based on the time period that you have in your calendar. So up here where it says May 1st to June 9th, it's going to count it based on that period. So let's say that I visit you on April 29th, and then I don't visit you again until June 8th. Am I a unique user? Yes. Am I a new user? I mean, new, no, but new in that period, yes. Okay. So it's counting the new users, the unique users in that period, right? So you're always going to see, generally speaking, that the new users is going to be less than the total users. And it's kind of a question of how much you really want. If you can get a split of around 50-50, that's okay. 75-25, I wouldn't stress too much, but you really want to have a good mix of all users, people who are coming back all the time, and people who are new in that period, okay? So the next one here is sessions. So sessions is the activity or the engagement on your page. You can see that the number is obviously higher than users. That's because users can have more than one session. There's 3 ways that a session really ends. The first one is inactivity on the page for 30 minutes. The second one is that it's midnight. And then the third one is that they left your page based on one campaign and they came in based on another. So for instance, they came into your web page based on a campaign from a Facebook organic search that they did. Then they left your page and then they came back in based on a Google ad, okay? Those are 2 different sessions. Those are 2 different ways that they're coming into your page. So it's gonna restart at that point. But the thing about sessions is it's not super interesting on its own. What you're interested in with sessions is sessions comparative. So let's just go up here for a second and let's just compare this period to the period before it. And then let's look at the sessions. All I had to do, by the way, is come up here and just click the compare button. And I did the exact same period of time, but back in time, okay? So now if we look at sessions, we can see that the sessions is up by 20% almost in this period versus last period. So that's good. So you wanna see what you've been doing differently in this period versus last period on the sessions there. All right, the next one is the bounce rate. This is super valuable. You should really be looking at this all the time. The bounce rate is the percentage of people who come to your site and then take no action. I'm talking about going to no other pages, clicking on no buttons, just no action at all. So if you've got people who are, for instance, coming into your site, looking for 2 seconds and then leaving, which is very common, then they're going to contribute to a higher bounce rate than people who look at the page, scroll down, click on something, go to another page, etc. Okay, so keep in mind that a good bounce rate range is between 30 and 70%. So this one here, that's 49.18, that's just about right. If you're too low, if you're under 30%, you probably need to make sure that you're optimized appropriately, that you've got the pixel on every page, because it just isn't logical. People come to the page and they leave. That's just how the internet is. If you're over 70%, that means that there's something on your page that you're causing people to leave, okay? So you need to take a very close look at what exactly is happening on your page that's driving people away. Now, that said, those percentages are dependent on the site. If you have a single page site, just a landing page and a checkout page, then the bounce rate might be different than if you have many, many pages on your site, right? So you just need to take into account what your site structure is like, and that's gonna help you account for this. So next is pages per session. This is pretty straightforward. Pages per session is just the number of pages on average that a visitor visits during a session, okay? So you want this to be as high as possible. If it's over 1, you're doing well. This one's at 4.42. Obviously, they're doing quite well. It is Google. I'm not too surprised by it. So it's really interesting just to understand whether you're getting people to move through the page or not. and really not for much more than that. So average session duration. This is very simple. This is the average amount of time that someone spends on the page when they're on there for a session, okay? So 3 minutes is great. If it's very low, then you want to take a very close look as to why that might be happening. If there's any roadblocks that you're missing with people, I would check Hotjar for this, because Hotjar is a great option to get a feel for whether you're losing people at any certain point. But effectively, you want to see that average session duration is going very high. Now, keep in mind, one of the ways that a session expires is 30 minutes of an activity. So if you are expecting sessions of long read time or something, then maybe you would see that the session duration is going to be longer than 30 minutes. You can always adjust your session duration thresholds inside Google Analytics. So just go ahead and do that to account for that. All right, the last section, I'm going to cover all three of these columns at the same time, the conversions columns. So e-commerce conversion rate is, as it sounds, it is the percentage of the time that a session resulted in a purchase. So not a user visit, not a new user visit, a session resulted in a purchase. So what you want is, I would expect between 2 and 3% in most situations. This is obviously a bit low. You also have to keep in mind that it depends on the amount of traffic that's coming in. So a higher session amount is probably going to result in a lower conversion rate, because you just naturally have more people that are churning through the page. It's a lot like an engagement rate. So just consider that when you're looking at this. Take it for a grain of salt, but if you can get 2 to 3%, you're doing pretty well. The transactions is exactly as it sounds. It's the number of purchases that happened on the page during that session, and the revenue is the revenue. Okay, so what's great here is that you can look at the channel grouping and you can look at this conversions column. You can get a really clear idea of what channels are converting the best, and if there are any channels that are falling behind, what you can do to improve those. So there you go. That is a deep dive into just one report on Google Analytics. As you can see, this is a super granular tool that you can take a huge advantage of. I do want to caution you not to get too buried in the data, because there's a human aspect too, but this data is super effective to help you to boost your business. If you want to get even more information about data in Google Analytics and the best tools and reports that you can use to take advantage of this platform, I would encourage you to download in my description my top 5 Google Analytics reports and how you can use them to really boost your business right now. That's in the description. Just make sure that you grab that. And if you like this video, please make sure that you tell me by giving me a like, subscribe to this channel if you're into it, comment and let me know your favorite Google Analytics metric, or if I'm the only nerd that has one, and I'll catch you in the next one.